Hey, what is up? I am back with another video. Today I watched Snow White literally half an hour ago, and I want to talk about it because if you were no stranger to the internet, you would realize and know that this film has caused quite the controversy, specifically around Rachel Zegler playing Snow White. And I'm gonna say it here quickly, I'm a Rachel Zegler defender for life, okay? I wanted to do a little movie film review. I went and I watched it and I really enjoyed it, actually, more than I thought I would. I have seen the original Snow White before anyone jumps on me and is like, shut up. I have a few things to say about the controversy, about the film itself, about a lot of things. I have a note here on my phone and I'm going to run through some things that I enjoyed, things that I didn't enjoy, and just my overall opinion about the film. Starting off with the soundtrack. The soundtrack was amazing. I loved it. I loved the score. I loved the original songs so much. Like, I was obsessed. Like, even the recreations of the original ones, like Whistle While You Work, perfection. Like, I do not care what anyone says. All these people that are like, Rachel Zegler should not have played Snow White. Shut the fuck up. Okay, thank you. Your opinion is not wanted, nor is it needed, okay? And it really irks me because people have like often said, and I'm going to say it here first, it is pure, blatant racism, the hate that she has gotten. The hate is so forced, y'all have no idea. And I've seen so many things about her that have just been so unnecessary and so out of this world cruel. It's crazy to me. These people are at home in their bedrooms, in their offices, whatever. She shouldn't have played Snow White. She isn't Snow White. That's not my Snow White. My Snow White was from 1937. 37, that's almost 100 years ago. Like, please grow up. I understand having things that are dear to you and, you know, things being recreated or a newer version has come out. That is completely fine. If you don't like that and you want to stick with your original, that's fine. Do you need to send endless hate and have such hate force on a young actress? No. Keep it to yourself and move on. Like, what? Why do you feel the need to complain about it through the entire day? Okay, grow up. I love Rachel Zegler. I think she was fucking perfect for this. I think she was phenomenal. I think she did a great, fantastic job. The singing, the acting, everything she did was amazing to me. And like I said, I'm a Rachel Zegler defender for life, okay? So I don't want to hear anyone's bullshit, okay? And also, everyone that was saying about, you know, changing the story about like Snow White's not going to be saved by the prince. Go back to other Disney live action princesses. Emma Watson when she played Belle. Lily James when she played Cinderella. They said the exact same thing. Where was the hate for them? Nowhere. Nowhere! Don't piss me off. I love her and she should not have gotten this much hate for this role. And also, another thing that I've seen, people talking about her complaining that she needs to be paid every cent for Snow White. And everyone's like, why do y'all hate that so much? A woman asking to be paid fairly? What is wrong with that? She spent hours, days, weeks, months in this costume and in this role. Would you not want to be paid for every second of it? Exactly what I thought. Yeah, the soundtrack was phenomenal. I loved it so much. Even the A Hand Meets a Hand, I think, with, I forgot the actor's name, but the guy that plays Jonathan, that was such a cute scene. I was literally like, oh my god, this is really sweet. And I just loved this film a lot more than I thought I would. And I also seen a lot of people saying online of like, before even the film came out, was them constantly being like, they're changing the story. She's not going to be saved by the prince. First of all, she did get saved by the prince. So what the fuck are you complaining about? She literally got saved by the prince. Grow up, get over it. She literally ended up getting saved by the prince, and she also became the leader of her kingdom that she was meant to become, and she was taught by her father and her mother. It is literally in the story. Like, anyway, whatever. Also, the visuals were absolutely beautiful and so stunning. Every like scene, I was just in awe of like what I was looking at. When she finds the cottage, the ending scene, The ending scene, the what? Girl. I absolutely adored this film so much. I just loved the visuals, and the cinematography of it all was just so beautiful. And that's the one thing that annoys me, is like things like that need to be appreciated, like the actress Rachel Zegler. Give her flowers. Like, she ate down with this role, okay? She did so well. She played Snow White perfectly, in my opinion. If you don't agree with that, that is fine. This is my opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. Let's move on, okay? Also, a lot of people were saying about how this film wasn't Snow White, and they were going off track from the story, and they weren't keeping it the same, and blah, 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 blah. If you watch the film, but like, please go and watch it and come back to me with that same opinion, and I guarantee you'll be wrong, because they did so many similarities to the original. They paid homage so much. The same like box that in the original where Snow White's heart is in, and it's actually a pig heart, that exact box was in the film. The Evil Queen's like costume collar, like the iconic white collar on her costume, anyway, that was in there too. There were so many similarities. Even like the beds were like of the seven dwarves were like very similar. Like, everything was just it wasn't a completely different story. So I don't understand why people were like nyeh about it. Go and watch it, or don't. Why are we complaining about it 24/7 about something we haven't even seen or watched? There were so many performances of Rachel Zegler's that I just absolutely adored. I think she was fantastic, and I can't even say that. That's an understatement. She was phenomenal. And I really want people to put their opinions and differences aside and give the film a chance, because she was amazing. And the other one, not so much. Yeah. Gal Gadot, I don't remember how to pronounce your last name, but she was something. Look, I have a different opinion on that woman, and I don't want to make that the sole purpose of this video, but just know I don't like her. Cool. Her performance in this was... girl, I don't even know. I don't know, her performance wasn't that great. Back to what I was saying about Rachel Zegler though, and her performance, she was just incredible. I think as well, I love the like leader trope, and wanting to become a leader and wanting to become brave and true, and that person, you know, she looked up to her father and her mother so much, and her father was the king of their home, their, you know, where they lived, and she wanted to be like him. She wanted to be a brave leader, and she became that because that's who she is. Like I said, she ends up getting saved by the prince. So when people say she doesn't get saved by the prince, in reality she does. It's just not in the same way. She can still have, you know, the love and the romance side of it, but that's not the main focus. The main focus of this film is her becoming a leader and becoming the leader she's meant to be, like she's seen her father and her mother, and how they ran the kingdom with kindness and, you know, all the joy that the kingdom felt because of their presence as king and queen. And Snow White, the princess, wants to do that exact same thing. What is the problem with that? I don't see the problem in that plot being an issue. I also really liked the costume design. I know that was another topic that people had kind of had a discourse about, and it was like, the costume's not good enough, the yellow's not good, whatever. Again, y'all have never, like, before this remake, this live action of Snow White, did I see any single person in the world talking about Snow White this passionately? No. Again, this leads back to just blatant hate and racism, honestly. This film was not made for the 40-year-old men at home, or anyone, like, that isn't young girls, you know, people and young kids in general. It's like, these people go and watch a film of a Disney princess or a Disney film in general, and they see that and go, oh my god, I want to be a princess. And it's the luxury and fantasy of being a kid, of wanting to have that beautiful fantasy life, are gonna go into any film like this and be amazed and be so in love with a character that they look up to them and want to be them. And having a princess become a leader and become a queen and of a kingdom, that is so much like importance to society as a whole, because it gives them reason and gives them meaning, a personal individual to have beliefs and goals and dreams, and they can see that and go, I want to be a queen one day, or I want to be, you know, a leader. I want to be brave. I want to be fair. I want to be true. This is why films are so important. This wasn't made for, you know, anyone else other than young kids, and they did what they needed to do with this film. Okay, and I will say that right here, right now. I loved that, you know, they had all the little different things that would be in a Disney film. The romance, the true love's kiss, that can all still be present in a Disney film and in a princess film, to be exact. But the princess also being a leader and being brave and strong can also be true. It can all coexist in the same thing. That it doesn't need to be one thing or the other. They both can be true. Really, really loved the dark forest scene when she falls down the hole and all that. That I think was incredible. It was creepy, it was eerie, it was a little bit scary, and it was very, very, very good. Again, back to what I was saying about the cinematography and the visuals in general, I just really loved it. It was very encapsulating. Is that a word? I don't know. But it was very, very good to watch. One little thing that I would have preferred is the 7 dwarfs being played by actual actors. I don't really like the CGI of it. I mean, it's fine. I just think that it should have gone to actual actors with dwarfism. There are so many of them out there, you know. There are like, even your like main well-known actors, like you can find new ones, people out there that would like to see that. And again, this is what I'm saying before, like representation matters, whether it's a white princess or a black princess or a Hispanic princess or a dwarf or not a dwarf. Any sort of representation in a film is so important, because someone like me or like you or the person down the street, anyone, they are going to watch that and go, oh my god, I look like that, or they look like me. And this is what is important, is representation in films. And it doesn't matter if things get changed, if a story gets changed or rewritten the tiniest bit. Representation is what matters most, and being able to give people goals and dreams and wanting people to have that ambition, you know, and that urge to become who they want to be. I do wish that the dwarves were played by, you know, real actors, and like kind of kept the CGI of that to a minimum. The voice actors of the dwarfs were really well done. I mean, they did a really good job. And Dopey, my favorite, when he spoke his first words, I'm not even gonna lie, I was crying. I was in the cinema like, oh my god. I also really did like the like funeral scene, and it was different. Again, things can be different and also similar at the same time. Was she in a glass coffin? No. But was the scene just as beautiful and impactful? Yes. This is what I mean. Things can be changed and rewritten even in the slightest, and it still has the same impact and feeling as the original did. The evil song, I don't know what what was it? Fairest of them all? I don't know, but Gal Gadot's like evil solo number. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I liked the song, and I'm saying the song. I'm not saying her or her singing. I liked the song. I liked the production of it, and that would have gone so hard if it was by a different actress. It could have been a different actress completely, and they would have done it so much better. I also really liked the whistle while you work scene and the entire interaction that Snow White has with the 7 dwarfs. I think it was different to the original, and I liked that there was more of a story. The original was kind of slow, and it kind of, I feel, lacked a lot of interest, where this one, there was more to it. There was more action, there was more of a story, there was more interest to kind of sit there and go, ooh, like, and be really intrigued and invested in the film as a whole. I loved the like little bandits in the forest and Jonathan, and that whole scene of them like fighting the guards and like things like that. Even though they're such like small additions to the film, like obviously that wasn't in the original, but you know, it was a very good scene. And I also think it pays homage to other Snow White remakes. I mean, was it Mirror Mirror or Magic Mirror? I don't know, the one with Lily Collins, but I loved that film. I think that was such a great film with Julia Roberts as well. Julia Roberts played a great evil queen. Even that, like that Snow White, there was bandits like the seven dwarfs were the bandits, and so there were bandits in this one, which I believe there were 7 of them. So I'm like, that pays homage to other remakes. I also really loved the original song Princess Problems and the other song Hand Meets a Hand, I think. Great songs. I loved them so much, and I loved the chemistry that Rachel Zegler had with the actor who played Jonathan. I forgot his name. Like I said before, Dopey's first words was just, my god, especially in the original because he doesn't talk. And I feel like in the original it's implied that he doesn't know how to. Where this one, it wasn't so much that he wasn't able to talk or didn't know how to, it was more he was too scared to talk. And the second that he was able to talk was by being brave enough to stand up to the evil queen. And you know who helped him do that? Snow White, because she is a leader and she is brave and she is strong. And that was the point and the purpose of this film specifically, was to have Snow White become the leader and become a brave, strong person, which she did. Okay, by all that, she also was able to be saved by the prince and find true love and have that fairy tale Disney princess story and plot. So to everyone complaining, y'all can shut the fuck up. I also really kind of liked the queen's death scene. I found it really interesting that the way that was kind of like all planned out was her vein and her greed, I would say, to become the fairest of them all. I think it was kind of symbolic that the way that she died was by the mirror and turning into that sort of being her demise, because that's all she really wanted, you know, was to be the fairest of them all and be the most beautiful and be the most whatever. And I think it was kind of symbolic that the way that she died was by smashing the mirror and that becoming her end, really. I also really loved the scene where Snow White was remembering everyone's names, and that in itself had me in chills. These things of people remembering the smallest things, details, is like your name or where you were from or whatever. Little things like that mean the world to people. When you tell someone something and then 6 months from now they go, I remember you told me that, you're gonna tell me you sit there and go, cool, whatever. No, your heart is going to flutter a little bit and you're gonna be like, oh my god, you remembered that about me or what I said? Things like that matter, and it was so beautiful to see Snow White remember the guards' names and their wives and what they used to do before they became a guard, really. I thought that was a really beautiful scene. I mean, I rated it 4 stars on Letterboxd. I think people are going to put their hatred and their disagreements too forward than looking at what this film really is about and the real heart and love from the story. I feel that it should be celebrated in a way where people can go and watch it and feel connected and feel empowered to become whatever they want to be. So I encourage you to go watch it, and I encourage you to go and see it and watch it for yourself with a fresh pair of eyes. If you went into seeing anything about this film and going, I'm not going to watch that, that's not my Snow White, whatever, y'all are focusing on the wrong things. Y'all are focusing on whether her skin is too pale or too brown. You were focusing on the story being changed by, quote unquote, she's not going to be saved by the prince. She did get saved by the prince. I think it was just a very well done remake of Snow White. I liked the remake more than I did the original. Like I said before, I think the original was very slow, and I wouldn't say necessarily boring, but I would say it took a while and it was just not a lot of interest was there. This film doesn't need negativity. If you can go into it and watch it and see the positive part of it, that's great. And that's all that is really needed. Overall, I really love this film. Like I said before, I rated it 4 stars on Letterboxd, which if you're not following me on Letterboxd, go do so. Follow me on Instagram as well, Twitter, all that stuff. Give it a chance and don't be so judgmental over it. I understand not wanting to watch it because of... Again, I want to give her flowers for this because she was fantastic, and I don't even mean that in the slightest. I mean, she was absolutely great. Her vocal ability and the way that she acts and the way that she conveys such emotion, like even in like small scenes of her just like talking to the queen in the very beginning. She's like, you know, I think people like just need a little bit of kindness. That scene of her and that line delivery and the way that she does it is so pure and just, you know, you can feel it within the screen. You can feel it within the words and the emotion. And she's fantastic. She really is. She is one of a kind, and I think that people really need to be more kind and be more fair to her and be more open to listening to what people have to say, and not specifically her or anyone, but just in the world in general. I feel like people do need to be kinder and be nicer and have a more sense of sensitivity to others and just be able to, again, be kinder. That was my thoughts, and I really loved this, and Rachel Zegler was just fantastic. Like, she really was the star of this film, and I know she's obviously the main actor, but she was this film, and you can tell that she put a lot of work into this and a lot of soul and joy and heart into her role as Snow White, and I really respect that, and I really loved the film. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I encourage you to go and watch the film yourself, and just if you have seen it, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Go watch Snow White, or don't. I would say do it, but if you don't want to, that's fine. Rachel Zegler, my girl, love you down. Love you all so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.